Classic Boat Symposium. All the history. I learned so much about the Star Class preparing for that speech.
Yes, it was nice to have you.
Thank you. Okay, guys, let's see. What time is it? Now we got another couple minutes. Hey, just for everybody's I feel I like to see the purpose of having a Zoom is to so we can all see each other and be as much in a room together as possible. So if it's possible, turn on your video so we can see you, and it's an opportunity for all of us to get to know each other if we don't already. That didn't inspire too many people.
You're normally inspiring, Paul.
Yeah, usually it works, but
Usually, what the hell?
must be early in the morning where these people are.
It's 5 p.m. where I am.
Oh, you're in Italy then.
Of course. Yes.
Nice. Nice. See, Gus is on. That's good.
I'm there.
The minister of the lute.
Yeah.
We should change that title in the log. I think you're called treasurer or something.
It's treasurer, yeah.
Yeah. We should change it to something more descriptive.
What do you propose?
Minister of the lute.
And what is the loot?
Loot is a pirate term for it's like the booty. The booty and the loot was what the pirates stole from the other boats.
Okay, so I can hear the pirate of the Caribbean is back.
That's right. Yeah. If I turned you guys around, I'm showing off my vintage Gold Star wall, but if I turned it around, you'd see my Pirates of the Caribbean wall. My house is full of boats, as you could imagine.
Oh, who would have thought?
Actually, Karen, my fiance, I said, there's too many boats in the house. She said, no, it's good. I like the boats. Okay. That was a test.
Hello, guys. Good afternoon. Good morning.
Oh, Tonko, how you doing?
Yeah. Good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm good. I'm in San Diego. Sun's out.
Yeah. I was thinking, did you see the splashdown of the Artemis from San Diego? They said that was at front of the San Diego.
Yeah, but I think we didn't see it. One, it was a little foggy, and two, right, Geraldine? I mean, it was probably 50 miles offshore.
Right.
It's too far, yeah.
Yeah.
How are you, Gerald?
Good. But the ship should be coming in, and I think they are helicoptering the astronauts into North Island, which is, for people that were here, sailed right past it. Oh.
Okay, let's get rolling. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for attending the town hall. We'll give you a little information, and then we'll open the floor to questions for whoever or subjects anybody wants to discuss. I don't normally say anything about people who've passed, and we've lost quite a few people in the last 3 or 4 months. But I do want to just mention Peter Simpson because he was a great president of ours, passed away a few weeks ago. And somebody needs to mute their background.
Sorry, that's yeah, that's mine. Sorry.
And anyway, I had the opportunity to visit Peter in December when I was down there. He was in a sort of a hospice situation, but I went to his clinic, and he was a great man. And for those of you who all knew him, well, for those of you who didn't know him, he was a great man, and he was a great leader of the Star Class, very organized, a very high-level lawyer. He was a patent and intellectual property lawyer, had the biggest firm in South America. His son now runs it, Peter Jr. So a very organized and accomplished man and took great care of the star class in the 80s. So I just wanted to say that. And he inspires me every day when I do. He and others like Malin Burnham inspire me in my job, my role. So we're going to have the agenda you saw put out by Geraldine, more or less. We're going to follow. I have added a few things to it here and my own agenda, but we're going to start with some committee updates, and we got a request to go through the financials of the class. So we're going to explain a little bit, again, the 2025 year-end results and the 2026 budget. And you'll see the increased programming that we've taken on for 2026. And we will share with you the balance sheet of the star class so that you can see the assets. And for that, I will ask the Minister of the Loot, Gus Poland, to make a little presentation.
Treasurer.
Treasurer, yeah. Gus?
Yes, I'm there. Oh, you have it already. Yeah, perfect, perfect. Maybe to kick off with the world we had in Split, and just before we had the general meeting over there, I wanted to continue in the same way as we presented in Split the financials. And what I will do, I will also present the financials, of course, at the general meeting in Miami in November. But in the meantime, there was a request to see if we can get a short update on where we're standing and also what's financially happening in 2026. And maybe the best is that we go to the first slide. And that's basically, I've put there the 2026 income based on the budget and the 2025 non-audit actuals, because there is still work to be done by the US tax advisor or auditor to go over the numbers so they are not final, but it gives a good impression where we are, where we're standing. Now, in the same way as I presented in Split, you can see our income, what is predicted for 2026 is quite stable. You see the royalties on hull, on mast, that's then a new item. And you see the champion entry fees, you see the member dues, and maybe that's a good point to stand still. For us, as a star class, the collecting of the membership and the membership dues are key in the whole process of collecting income, as you see. It's a major amount. Then we have some sales. Geraldine is always active with promoting sales on her website and selling them off. We have some advertisements in our log that also helps to decrease the cost of the log. We will come back to that. Then we have some goods of cost of goods that are basically the merchandise and other things we have to purchase before we can sell it. And what is new for 2026, that is basically that we have, next to the operating income, for the first time also income from Legacy Foundation of the Star Class, what is a separate legal entity, and they are providing us $25,000 for basically increasing our marketing activities. More concrete, by this $25,000, we can finance an Italian marketing agency who's taking care of the social media. Next to that, we have also put there in the budget 2026 a special line, and that is the what we want to do for the first time, because our assets are quite high. You will see that later on the balance sheet. We will take about 20,000 out of our investment portfolio and put it to our income, which is, from an accounting perspective, is no income. But this is the first time that we go to move that, because our investment portfolio is significant and we can afford to do that. Coming to the expenses, now you see basically that we have an office that we have to run. We have people over there. We have activities over there. We have a physical office where all kind of items are standing. That is costing money. Next to that, we have, of course, the committee. We have to pay the traveling of the employee, Geraldine, sometimes Mike, and the committee. Then we have, as a big cost, the member log you will receive quite soon. And that is basically a kind of history, but it is such a history that everyone is collecting it in the meantime. Then what I already announced, we have the marketing agency that is basically financed by the Legacy Foundation. And next to that, we have a lot of marketing costs that that is the existing marketing, the regatta promotion. So in total, we have quite a lot of marketing activities this year. Coming back to the balance sheet, there you see that in 2025, for the first time, we went over a balance total of 1 million. And at this moment, so then I speak about 31 March 2026, we even have a little bit a higher balance sheet, but that is basically caused by the fact that there was cash collection for the Worlds. All the ones who have registered for the Worlds had to pay upfront, of course. We had the same for the North American Championship, and the Western Hemisphere also made it for us possible to collect quite early. And next to that, we had a special donation which was received in 2025, and that was a donation purely dedicated for financing the World. So we will pass that on later on in this year. And that was causing basically an increase of about 200,000 in the total assets. And you can see then at the accounts payable that we still have to pay that 200,000 for these events and pass that money on. So we are not doing bad. Critical, in my opinion, is still the membership fees, because we have an elder generation of star sailors, and we have to replace that as much as possible, or keep the old ones also as a member, and try to continue with that. So that's an effort for everyone, basically. Try to keep all the members in. And for example, we had in the Netherlands, we had 1 week ago a regatta that's called the Easter Regatta. And there we had a very pleasant dinner. And I think next time we should also invite some elderly star sailors to keep them in our group. Why not? This is my presentation. I don't know if you have any questions. Hello?
Any questions from anybody there? We must have done a good job, Gus. What I would say is, what I do also want to pass on to everybody is that we are using investment income because we feel that the balance sheet is really the property of the class, the members. Okay, the reason why we have $1 million invested is because we've managed the class well, and others before us have managed it well, and so those assets make money every year, more or less 50,000 a year. So I feel and with Gus that it's appropriate to give back some of that money, and that's how we were able to not raise the dues this year exceptionally. I do think we should continue after this sort of gift year of no increase in dues, resume the sort of cost of living increase to dues, because everything around us, insurance, rent, office rent, things like that go up every year. So I think we should resume something like 3%, 4% dues increase every year and try to be stable as we go in the future. We do rely on dues, as Gus numbers here in a minute. But we do need to encourage everybody to pay the dues, and there's a number of things we'll talk about on this call that we're doing to do that. So thanks for that, Gus. I don't think Giovanni Copo or is Raquel on the call? Geraldine, anybody from marketing? Okay, so marketing, we have invested 25,000 this year with a agency in Italy that is strategically helping us with mostly our social media. As Gus said, the population of the star class is sort of an aging, the median age is aging. So we want to be attractive to younger people, and we're doing a number of things in that regard. As you know, we have a number of programs to help young people get into boats. And we also want to be attractive to them where they are, meet them where they are, which is social media. So you may have hopefully noticed an increase in our visibility on Instagram and Facebook and those regards. So we are doing that, and we're pretty happy so far with that project and marketing. Giovanni Copo is leading that with Brechoff and Raquel, of course. And Mike attends those meetings usually as well. Mike is not present on the call today. He's attending his nephew's wedding. Another committee we have, so overview is there's a lot to do in the star class. Okay, so we've empowered a number of committees to help. One is marketing, and that's led by one of our sailors, Giovanni Copo. Licensing, we have the opportunity to do a licensing agreement with SLAM to have some branded clothing available, not only for events, but for people to purchase. Many of you are familiar with SLAM, the products, and so we're very close to finishing that agreement, and we will be notifying you. I see Doug Smith's on the call. He's working with Enrico Chieffi to consummate that deal. We're also working with Tommy Londergan and Doug to protect our IP rights, which are registered, but they need to be renewed. So we have an attorney in Washington, D.C. that renews our IP rights for us. Another committee that I formed is the investment committee. So I've asked Fabio Prada and Ante to look over our investment policies. We have 2 investment policies in the class, one for the class, which is its own entity, and one for the Legacy Foundation. Both those policies have been reviewed. They've been adjusted a little bit. Basically, an investment policy is your risk tolerance. And so we've adjusted them a bit. I would say they were extremely conservative, and they're a little more moderate now. And we have senior, let's say, sage investors like Don Parfett as part of that committee making those decisions. So that's a little bit on the committees. Before I go too far, I think it's good just to review the regattas coming up this year, the championship regattas. So we have the Eastern Hemisphere Championship in Balaton. As far as I can tell, the entries aren't too high on that yet. So if you know anybody, or if you might be inclined to drive to Hungary and sail on a beautiful lake with some great people, I would encourage you all to do that. That's in early June. as is Gull Lake in Michigan. That's our Western Hemisphere Championship. And then the European Championship will be in Medemblik in August. Of course, Gus knows all about that. And then I think there's a number of you organizing that who are on this call. I think the entries for that are already looking good. And then we'll have the World Championship in Miami. I think it's November 5th to 12th, more or less. So those are the championships, and below, underneath and around that, there's a lot of other great racing in the Star Class. And I think that the heart and soul actually of the Star Class is all the other regattas. The championships get a lot of attention, but all the lake sailing that goes on in Germany and Austria and in Michigan is fantastic. And I got to sample a little bit of that last year, and I hope to do more. So logistics, we had a meeting with Bacardi last week to talk about the logistics around the 100th Bacardi Cup. And we had Stein Dressel on that call, who's in that business. Is Stein on the call here today by any chance? I don't see him, but he is. So there's a bunch of boats. I think there are 16 boats planning to come to the World Champ, or maybe Arndt wants to talk. I'll just say a couple things, and then either Arndt, because I know Arndt, you're in touch with Stein, but there's a number of boats that are going to leave from Medemblik essentially in containers to go to Miami for the entire winter. That is the World Championship, maybe the North American the North American, I think we axed that. But the World Championship, Geraldine, did we cancel the North Americans?
No, they're in Tampa Bay.
I forgot to mention the North Americans in Tampa Bay 2 weeks before the World Championship. Yeah, I know Hubert Merkelbach's coming. So there's some containers leaving from Medemblik for the States, and I think that's fairly well organized. But for people who might want to go to Miami in, let's say, January or February for the 100th Bacardi Cup, Stein is working on another package deal. And there will be some attractive pricing around that. And I'm not sure if that's going to be row or what the type of service is, but I know that he's working on that as well. And then we talked about trying to have someone in the States or help with the logistics around storage and boat movements. And I think Nick Pro, who's on this call, has put his hand up to be a point of contact for that, so that we have a better assistance program here in the States. So, Arndt, do you want to say anything about the shipping and what you know with Stein?
Yeah, well, we started about a year ago, Paul, looking into possibilities to get support from the Florida-based Star Sailors for that particular thing. The idea is to leave after the Europeans from Rotterdam and return after Bacardi, 100th Bacardi Cup. With initially we thought about 25 to 50 boats. It's going down by the minute. Entry levels didn't help, but we have a significant amount of interest generated in Europe for bringing boats over. Stein is in the shipping business. He handles with his business and in his company transportation of big yachts, right? So 100-foot upward. And they've got vessels operating all over the world to transport luxury boats, if you want to say, from one point to the other. Stein is also perfectly hooked up with several container agents, if you want. And Stein is the man on the ground negotiating the container fees, handling in Rotterdam up until delivery to Miami. From then on, we hope that Zach Hansman and Nicholas Pro are picking up the containers, unloading and storing boats for us up until the end of Bacardi. And this is kind of the package we are talking about right now. And we priced and we have got solid estimates, which we can share with everybody from Europe who wants to send a boat. In parallel, Diego Negri is also looking into shipping from Italy. I haven't heard back from him since a while, but I hope that he is not only just taking our rough estimates and trying to negotiate a better deal from Holland or from Italy than from Holland, but is also coming back with significant interest from the Italians sending boats over. Maybe they join us in Rotterdam. It's not clear yet. So that's the basic going there. And I know Zach and Nicholas are on the call, and I know that they have set up something for us, which is a storage option for boats, basically for everyone in Florida who wants to store boats there. Zach and Nicholas are the contacts, Florida side. That's basically my part. Thank you.
Yep, good. That's a good summary. Thanks. And I know that the world's entry list is closed. There is a waiting list though, but Bacardi is going to accommodate more. They're talking about at least 125 boats. So this is where the whole thing with, I think Stein knows that. And I know he knows it because we were on the call last week. So there is still a chance for people who might want to attend that very special event, the 100th Bacardi, to join in on that. And these logistics are important. And as I said, he's putting together a package for, let's say, the second shipment, which would be in January, for people who might want to just go for Bacardi. Nick Pro, do you want to say anything about, your name got thrown around a lot right there. Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much. Yeah, Zach and I are definitely looking forward to helping out anyone who needs it. We'll have 3 options available: outdoor uncovered storage, outdoor covered storage, and then also indoor storage to suit every price point and needs. We can also set your boat up or do any boat work you may need, trailer work, kind of we're a one-stop shop basically for anything you might need to make your season easier in Miami.
Great. Thanks, Nick. And Geraldine, we should have Nick's contacts. Do we have, I don't know, do we have a bit of a contact page for this on the site or on the world site or on our website?
Not
How do people
yet,
get in touch with Nick
but
Pro?
yeah, we'll get something going.
Yeah, I think we're going to post something. We were waiting to hear back from Stein on this new package, and then we were going to post something about all this, including those storage rates, which he gave us.
Can
Awesome.
you hold on up until next Wednesday afternoon? That there is another meeting coming up next Wednesday where we have probably more firm numbers and everything. So Stein is going to reach out to Geraldine, I think. Okay, excellent. Well, thank you guys for doing everything to help our members get over there. Okay, I'm moving on to resolutions. Just to remind everybody that the deadline for resolutions is triggered off the annual general meeting of the Star World Championship every year. So it moves a little bit. Last year it was May 11th or something. This year, the deadline for resolutions is July 9th. So if you or your fleet, it has to be put forward through a fleet. But if you think that something should be adjusted with our bylaws or rules, the deadline to do that is July 9th this year. So one that I've been working on with Diego is really it's an effort to take this sort of obvious interest in the high profile events, namely the World Championship. The last 2 years have been sold out in a very quick amount of time, and I'm sure Naples will be the same thing, and try to use that interest to increase interest or participation in more local races. So the resolution we're working on is that to enter the Star Worlds, beyond just being one of the first people to use the computer and click and pay your money, you will have to race in 2
other events in a year. Okay, it could be your district championship, it could be the Trofeo Benetti, or it could be the Austrian championship, or it could be um, the North American championship, or it could be the Baxter Bowl. So the idea is to incentivize, well, require people to participate a little bit more. So we're going to put that resolution forward. That's one that I know of. And we've discussed that a lot with people in the various parking lots, and it seems to have good support. The trick with these things is to word them properly so that everybody is in favor. So we're working on that. Geraldine pointed out that we could take the time to do a little housekeeping on Rule 20, Section 28, or Article 28 of the bylaws, which is all about entries, and it sort of talks about a system that's a bygone era where you would fill out a piece of paper and get it signed by your district officer or fleet officer, and then you'd mail it into the Star class. Now everything's done online, so we might take the time to try to update Article 28. I haven't started on that, but that was just a thought. Does anybody have anything they want to talk about with regarding resolutions? No? Okay. Moving on. I wanted to hang on, I gotta put this dog outside. Come here, Jack. Come here. Jack. Jack. Come here. Come here.
Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Go. 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 All right. Let's see. I was on, oh yeah, Ovington Boats. So, we're blessed with the people who are passionate about building star boats. None of them are getting rich. We've had a couple of Italians doing it for many years, and recently we had Alberto Zanetti leading a group down in South America to build a new boat. The new boat's sailing. Peter Mockel went down and measured it in the fall, and we hope that will really help South America, which, as you know, has 100% import duty on anything produced outside of South America. That's the case for Argentina and Brazil. So that's good, and that's going along. And now, just recently, Leif Carlson made an agreement with Ovington Boats of the UK, known for building 49ers and dinghies mostly, to build his star boats, the Sea Star. And we think that that's a great move, and that's because Ovington obviously is very accomplished in boat building, and so we're excited about that agreement. And by the way, those Sea Stars are out of a new mold that was built, I think, just finished last year or so, and Peter Mockel measured that mold, and so it's no longer the P-Star mold. I gonna just mention something that's gonna get posted in the next month or so, but I thought it would be fun to have a little raffle in the class, and I asked a few of our vendors to participate. And so at the annual general meeting of the SAR class, we will draw member names out of a hat and award prizes. And the first prize will be a suit of sails. And I've got most of our sailmakers to participate. This year it'll be Doyle Sails, so main and jib from Doyle Sails. Then the second prize is an Atlas II. You may know we made an agreement with Vaqueros, a 3-year agreement to use Race Sense at all of our championships. So it does require a Vaquero, an Atlas II, which can be rented or purchased. They cost about $1,100. And so Vaqueros is donating one Atlas every year to the class, and that'll be in the raffle. I got Sandy Line of Slovenia to donate a set of sailing clothes for skipper and crew. For third, I I'm counting on the fact that we will consummate this deal with Slam. We'll have a little kit of Slam, and we'll have an ICOM M73 radio, which is proven to be the good radio to have on the boat as a fourth prize. So it's an opportunity to share with some of our partners a little limelight throughout the year. We'll promote the raffle, and then we'll pick some lucky winners at the annual general meeting and have a little fun with that. I'm thinking the SUTA sales, the people who were top 20 in the world championship the previous year will not be eligible for the sales, because I think it would be nice to push the sales down to some of my friends that I met last year on Lake Wörthersee, on the Wörthersee, or some other lake in Austria or Germany, or, you know, I think that those of us who finish in the top 20 in the worlds will always buy sales and maybe don't need the sales. So I'm thinking to put a little limit on the sales, make somebody very, very happy. All right, the sea boats. I've only got 4 more things. I'm going to try to run through it quickly. I know it's been a bit of a monologue, and then we'll open the floor. We have 55 minutes left in the call. The sea boats have been a great thing. I know there was a little frustration with some of the various bits breaking. I know a headstay, I think, jib halyard broke maybe on the young German team at the Bacardi, and so I'm not happy with that. And I know the donors, that's not what we want. So we're hiring Nick Pro to do a thorough overhaul of the sea boats before the World Championship this year, when they'll be used again. And he will give them all a bunch of new equipment. We have made an agreement with Harken. Actually, not an agreement. Harken's just coming on board to sponsor us and give us new equipment for those boats. And we have G&B Ropes also giving us as much rope as we need to make all the sheets and everything run great. So the Sea program will pay and employ Nick Pro to do that work. And we have great partners helping us as well. So looking forward to an upgraded Sea boat program for the Worlds in November. Gus already mentioned it, but the membership dues, as you saw in the income side, it's, I don't know, 70% of our revenue comes from dues. Okay, we're a membership organization. It's the way it'll always be. We can try to fine tune and do smart things with our investments and create and get sponsorships and do things to help, but by and large, we will always be a membership driven organization. The log is coming out. Jared, it's going to print next week. We had told everybody that you needed to be a member by April 1st in order to get the log shipped to you for free. There's going to be a little grace period in that because the log's actually getting printed on Monday. So as long as you're a paid member, by the time Geraldine ships the bulk of them, you will get it for free. So let's say April 15th. After April 15th, if you want a log, you can have it. The log's free. The shipping is on you. Gold and Silver Star updates. I went through that already, I think. And now the last thing I have on my agenda is just, I had a meeting with a smaller town hall with the district secretaries and fleet captains. I think it was in January, and just asking everybody who's a regatta organizer to recognize that Star Class has IP, okay? And we put a lot of energy into running the class, as you can see from the budget, and now you have a little more vision on what we do on a daily basis. The Star Class has been around since 1922. It was founded, and it has intellectual property, okay? The Star, the name Star Class, and if you run a regatta, and we have the Star Class rules, both the bylaws and the class rules, we have a measurer, and we measure boats so that people who race our boats know that they're competing against a similar boat and it's a fair competition. So all that represents value, okay? And that's the value we bring if you're going to host a star regatta. And so we're asking people, even at the Trofeo Benetti or other small, let's say, non-silver and non-gold events, to require people who enter those events to be star class members. And I think it's fair, and it's just something we've never done before, but we do need the revenue. And I think a lot of the people who don't pay dues are doing it just because they forget and they're not required to. So I think a gentle reminder in a notice of race will help the class financially. So that's what I had on my agenda. Geraldine, did I miss anything on our side?
No, thank
Do you
you.
want to say something, Geraldine?
Yeah, the log is at went to the printer yesterday, so we'll see a proof early next week, and it'll be printed and mailed. We have a lot of sponsors this year, or advertisers, which is great. I can say that I had a hard time getting responses from a lot of the fleets. So if there's no fleet officers listed, I just put C website because I couldn't wait anymore. And please remember to send us any updates for the calendar for 2026, because that's what we use to fill the log with your results. So make sure to keep your calendar for your fleet and your district updated, or let the office know so we can update on the website. That makes our job a little easier next year.
Oh, I did forget one thing, Geraldine. It's the membership update. Just for everybody's edification. What's the best way to break this down? I'll just try to be simple about it. I wonder if I could share my screen. Let me see if I can share here. I got something that's in the way here, but how do I share, Gerald? Let me see. Well, let me just, we currently have 932 members paid, and at the end of the year, last year, we had 1,281. Also, when Gus was making his presentation, if you noticed, the membership revenue number was slightly less for 2026 than it was for 2025. The dues didn't change, but we tend to be a little conservative in our budgeting. And I'm truly hoping that we can beat the number of 1,281 members this year. And we're currently at 932. So we've got 350 to go. So let's say we're 75% of the way there, and it's April 11th. That's pretty good historically. A lot of people get pushed by the big championships to join. We're hoping, as I said before, that even racing in small regattas will push people to join. And I would say the missing numbers are pretty evenly spread between actives and associates and juniors. It's not like any one area is lagging.
Paul, if I
yeah.
can make one comment, in doing the log this year, when we were putting your district results in, we saw a lot of members that sailed in the districts that weren't members. So what we might do is go and highlight last year's and send it to each district, the district officers, just so you can see, give you an idea. But you know, if you're going to race in your districts, you've got to be a member, both skipper and crew. So that would be great.
That's a good one, Gerald. Yeah, that's sad or bothersome, I would say, that people racing in the districts aren't required to be members. I mean, that's too far. So, okay, so let's open the floor for whoever, anybody have a question? And I just lost my whole screen. Hang on a second here. God. I can kind of see myself, Gerald, but I lost.
Okay. Paul Owen says, is it just skipper or both skipper and crew that are required to be members? And Addie says both. If you read the rules, I think there is a little bit of leniency for a crew, but when you get to the larger championships, it has to be both.
Okay. Is everybody
So-
hearing me twice?
Yeah.
You're
How
good.
do I have to get rid of myself?
You're good.
Maybe I,
The Arndt has a question.
go ahead, Art.
So if we want to change the fact that for blue, silver, and gold events, both skipper and crew need to be member, and extend that to all other star class events, how can we police this? How are we planning to police this in future going forward? Basically, are we denying entry for people who are not willing to pay membership, or are we punishing anybody with paying extra, or are we taking the boat away, or how do we do? What is the concept here?
Well, my concept would be it's hopefully not that dramatic. My concept would be that you simply put it in the notice of race, and in order for an entry to be accepted to a regatta, they need to pay the dues. And yeah, if they don't pay the dues, then they're not an official, they're not entered. I guess we could, I mean, we really shouldn't let them race. It's a bit ugly. I think you could have a grace period for someone, maybe the first time. But the point is to just ask people to, in my opinion, do the right thing, support the class. They obviously have a boat. If they're showing up at the regatta, they have a boat or they borrowed a boat. They have an interest in the star class. I think, it's just a matter of all of us, not just Geraldine, feeling some responsibility to encourage people to do the right thing and pay the dues. And so we do, as you know, required it silver and gold. Yes, your entry is not accepted and it's not valid unless you've paid your dues. At the more local regattas, we should probably have a little friendlier attitude, but I hope the district officers in those regions are willing to work with the organizing authority of the event and say, hey, can you put this in the notice of race? And they follow up. And if there's people at the regatta that they see who haven't paid, I hope they feel some responsibility and encourage those people to pay.
Okay.
You cannot score them or put a notation in the results.
Yeah, and maybe we don't score them. I mean, it really isn't that hard on the spot to pay $150. So,
I'm not saying that this is hard or that we should do anything in that regard, but it would help if there would be some sort of mechanism to send entries from managed to sale into a star class member check system somehow. Otherwise, I, as an organizer, need to liaise with my district officer, and the district officer probably has a regatta every weekend. And I, as an organizer, harass my district officer on a weekly basis with, is this guy a member or not? I mean, make it practical somehow. Provide the district officers and the regatta organizers with tools to manage this. A tool which cannot mean it's Geraldine or something. It should not mean it's Geraldine.
Yeah, well,
it should be a live database, is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Pretty much, yes. Some
So-
which I can query
yeah.
lists against.
One of the things we have, Arndt, is that when we do the log, we receive results in about 4 or 5 different programs. Manage to sale, people take Excel, people do handwritten. We've got yacht scoring, sail wave. You can't imagine how many different types of results we receive. So to enable every single program to double check against our membership is it's a bit of a coding issue, I would say, and I'm not that versed in it, but I know we've talked about this before. It's either that or you make everybody use one system that checks against our database, which is really a little harder to do. But the other thing that would help me is when all of you register for big regattas, make sure both you and your crew or skipper are members, because I'm constantly chasing one or the other. It'd be nice if you were all members before you registered.
Geraldine, my idea was You are the owner of our membership database. You define the interface.
Yeah, that's the problem. We've talked about it for years with all different programs. So
We could just do something super simple. We can just have a page on the website that's kept up to date that anybody can access. I don't know. I have to think about if we care that that's public information.
right.
But I think you're right. We will find a way to make the job for the district. You're absolutely right. I mean, how would they know if, even if it's their friend, if they paid or not? And it's kind of ugly to go around and ask everybody. So good point. Good point. We need to make it easy to effectuate the concept. I see that Juan Pablo Percorsi has his hand up.
You're on
You
mute,
gotta
Juan.
unmute. Unmute.
Hey, now you are listening me?
Yes.
Okay. No, the thing about the members' dues, I think the first thing we have to do is to change or to modify the rule, because now the crews are not obligated to pay the dues for championship less than Blue Star. So the problem for the district officer is that when you ask to pay the dues for the crew, maybe now we are racing the Argentine Championship, and for the class, the Argentine Championship is like a simply championship, no blue. The crews is not obligated to pay the dues, so I think we can try to change that so we don't have to fight with that.
Okay, good point. So that's a good point for a resolution. I will look into that, and that's my,
Just
that's
a
our
comment.
bad. It's not required.
Just a
Thank you.
comment on Juan Pablo. Just be careful that you don't scare away the rare crews we have in the class. If you make them pay as well for the smaller events, that might be, negative impact.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true. It's true that maybe we can make some exceptions, or maybe we can do that. The boat has to pay one crew in the year dues, and if they change for something that maybe a random crew, the boat has one crew pay. Maybe we can think about this a little more, but I think the first thing we have to make is the clear rules if we want to all members pay the dues all the year for all championships.
Okay.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't the boat owner pay the dues?
Well, the boat owner is the active member. The boat owner,
The active member. Okay.
knows that he's the active. I honestly don't. I haven't
Okay.
read the crew dues rules carefully enough. So let me take this on a little bit with Geraldine and the cons. I mean, we have people, guys, who are past world champions who for 30 years race in all the regattas in a certain lake in Italy and never pay the dues. And it's just, and by the way, run a business that makes money off the star class. So it's just not right. And so what we're really trying to do, I agree, we do not want to discourage anybody. I mean, we're doing so much to encourage people to join the class, right? So there should be some sort of accommodation, I would say, for people just getting in, and maybe we're just we have a separate category for that for a year. Come try the class. You don't even have to be a member, whatever. And but the people who have been there for 5 years and are perennial star sailors and are on their third boat, I mean, we're just trying to catch the lazy people. Okay, so we just want to put in place a mechanism that allows district officers to help us help Geraldine collect the dues. I think it won't take much to get quite a large number of people participating. So we'll take a look at it. Very good points. And we'll take a look at it and maybe come up with something that we can put in as a resolution in July.
Thank
Well,
you.
can I add one more thing, please?
Yeah.
When I heard that there are actually people racing regattas without being active member for years, I was pretty shocked. I was not aware that it's actually possible to do that. And in my opinion, it's not about encouraging those people. It's already disencouraging people that pay their fees every year, that go to the regattas and race against the people that don't pay. So in my opinion, it should be super strict. Don't let them start. Don't even let them start. Don't even let them, don't even let them use the crane for that regatta, because they have no right, in my opinion, to even be involved. It's asocial. It's not fair for everybody else, in my opinion.
Well, that's good. That's a good point too. Yeah, it's not only is the class missing revenue, but it's not fair to those who do support. I agree. So there's a lot of reasons, and we do have only a few, I would say, max people who, let's say, are trying to get away with it. I think who like intentionally don't pay because they want to save $100 or whatever.
Yeah, or they forgot or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, but
they're getting
there's
away.
a lot of. Yeah, I think there's just a lot of people who forget, honestly forget, and just they're not in the habit or whatever. So we'll come up with something good. Maybe I'll float it by probably float it by the CMC or the IGC before we submit the resolution. So
I mean,
Max,
if you could just do a simple Excel sheet that you publicize in a folder, and then all district officers can get the link to that folder and then can share it with their race officers, and the race officers just checking it a day before the regatta, going through the entry list. Usually it's about 20 to 30 boats. It's a 5-minute job. It's very simple, very easy. I don't think it has to be sophisticated system or an online thing or like a thing on the website. If it's just an Excel sheet you're sharing
Google
to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Google Docs, perfectly fine. I'm not sure about the privacy things in the US, how it is. In Germany, it wouldn't be allowed to publicize, I think, the names. But if you put it in a cloud, in any cloud, and then share the cloud, the folder to the fleet officers, who then can forward it to their race officers. Simple.
Okay, we'll work on that. Any other subjects? No? Come on, guys.
Well,
Well,
this is Jim Babel.
Good. We got two people at the same time. Who is it? Oh, James Babel. How you doing?
Good, Paul. I'd like to put a plug in for the Western Hemispheres this spring at beautiful Gull Lake, May 20 to 23. I see a lot of familiar faces on this call who've been to Gull Lake, and I think they'll agree with me that coming to Gull Lake is a great experience, and come here for a vacation and do a little star sailing while you're here. We try to accommodate everyone as far as housing if they come, and we're looking forward to a great regatta. I hope everyone can consider coming. Thanks.
Yeah, it is a great place. I agree with that. And
Sorry if I may comment.
Peloton's good too. Yes.
Hi guys, my name is Matias and I'm representing actually the Eastern Hemisphere venue, Spartacus Sailing Club. And just a few words on that. So when we started to talk with Adi about organising a Silver Star class event over here, we got really excited because our club have a great tradition of star sailing. We've got active crews for more than 70 years, which is I think it's quite good. And I might be a little bit biased over here, but we got a great venue with everything within the gate, the berthing, the crane, the restaurant, everything is within. And also, we had the annual membership meeting of the club a couple of weeks ago, and the members are really, really enthusiastic of hosting and supporting this event. We also managed to attract some of the sponsors, so I think we got all the ingredients to have a great event. I'm sure we'll be able to organize a really good. And actually, what we thought, and we came up with the idea, is to make a mini festival, which means that we do a back-to-back competition. The first one is District 17 Championship as a kind of pre-event, and followed by the Eastern Hemisphere. So there's chance to raise two good events. So I'm pretty positive that we'll organize a fantastic event. But I also know that when it comes to prestige, it always comes down to the size of the fleet. So I'm here. I'm asking a bit of help from you guys to register and to spread the word to all the fellow sailors. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for that. Yeah. I hope people do drive over to Hungary and Lake Balaton. I think it's great. I know you had many years ago, I want to say maybe 35 years ago, you had a championship there, and Vince Brune and Hugo Schreiner, I think, went over there, and I remember that. And you have a long history of star sailing on Balaton. True.
Well, I'm personally connected because my dad and my granddad raced in Star Class, so it's a bottom of my heart.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not able to make it, but I hope others do. Adi, you want to say a few words about that?
No. I just wanted to introduce Matthias, but he introduced himself, so all good.
Yeah,
no, Matthias is the responsible guy on the other side. So I'm representing District 17, and Matthias is doing the work for the club. We have also Tibor Tenke on the call, who is the rear commodore of the class and a member of the hosting fleet. I can say that the Hungarians and the Balaton sailors are very high motivated to make a very, very nice event to a very affordable price, or two events. It's a Balaton Sailing Week with the District 17 Championship and the Eastern Hemisphere. And they're super motivated, and it would be really, really nice that they get a lot more entries that they have now. So please spread the word, and I think it's a very iconic Star Class venue, the Balaton, and it's worth to go there. Thanks.
And that's the very first week of June, right? That's June 3rd to 6th. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, just if I can just intervene for a second, Matthias, one short note for your notice of race and to make the entry on Eastern Hemisphere. You didn't apply anything how to pay that, so the only way how to pay, you need to pay through the bank. So if probably would be easier if you can make some kind of credit payment or via PayPal, because you don't have that inside your process. So just small note about that.
Thank you for that. I will look into it.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Anybody, anything else? Yep.
Yeah. My name is Peter.
Yeah, hi, Peter.
Hi. Yes, I'm from the Netherlands. And since everybody's promoting I want to promote to the Europeans we're going to have in Medemblik. Everybody probably also knows Medemblik from the old days, because it used to be a qualifying event in the Netherlands. It's a beautiful place, and we're having this event in the end of August. So we have nice weather. We got a lot of sunshine, we hope. And we got also a beautiful venue. So we're hoping to see you all in Medemblik by 24 to 29 in August. It will be awesome to meet you all there.
Thank you for that, Peter. I see Muffin Man Zach's got his hand up. What's up, Zach?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Just kind of touching on what Nick said. We do have a plan for this upcoming year. As you can see, I'm in a truck delivering Melgises across the country at the moment. We do also have a contact with Bacardi, who will be posting something very shortly with kind of a list or a rundown of the costs associated with it. Anybody that we can get kind of to touch base with us beforehand, so we're not last minute on someone's boat. Where we have kind of a list going. We're working close with Stein over in Germany and Arndt. So I think our plan's pretty rock solid over here on this end. So yeah, just get you guys moved. I do have one space open from Florida to Gull Lake if anybody wants a boat moved. Flatbed service going all the way up. So yeah, any questions, please direct them to myself or Nick. Nick is kind of my man to go to at the moment because I'm kind of doing the logistics, moving things across the country. And he's the one behind the phone kind of telling me what's going on. So anything you guys need, just let us know.
Thank you for that, Zach. And thanks for doing all the work. It feels good with you and Nick there anchoring this thing. I see Scott Barnard's on the phone. Trophy man. Anybody have anything else? All right. Well, we have life membership. Geraldine, speak up.
It's unfortunate when we lose some of our star members. They happen to be life members, but that opens up possible life memberships for others. So right now, I think we have 3 openings. We do have a queue of people that are waiting, but I've gone to all those 3 or 4 that are on there, and they've all declined. So if anybody's interested, let me know. You can fill out an application. And then we go from there, and it's 20 times your dues. If you've paid dues this year, it's obviously less what you've paid, but we do have some life memberships open right now.
Okay.
Oh, Peter's interested. All right, guys. Well, if we don't have more subjects or questions, I want to thank you all for participating. Yes,
Can I quickly come back to the idea to have a resolution for qualification to our gold events?
Yes.
I'm thinking about this as well, and I'm thinking of putting a resolution in as well, which is focusing on the fact that a qualification system only comes into play when we have an organizing authority which limits the entries, which puts the onus onto the IGC to find organizing authorities who do not have an entry limit. Makes sense?
So in your mind, like, would it be good to have 130 boats at the World Championship?
Oh yes, and 150 or even 200 if we can find them.
The rules don't allow for qualifying.
Well, hang on. It's going to be a massive package of rule changes which would then be triggered, right? So you need to have the opportunity to sail in fleets, for example, to manage all of this. So that is not in our rules. It needs to be added. We need to strengthen our process in evaluating organizers, in evaluating venues. We need to have our application for our World Championships completely turned upside down to ensure that organizers can actually accommodate all of this. It's going to be I tried to unravel all of this, and I would in the end touch about 15 rules and bylaws even.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of so. This is why I put something into the process of getting a qualification system in, to actually stipulate that this only comes into play if we need it, and that we don't use it all the time, because that is putting more stress on the whole class, I think. Putting more stress on the fleets to actually come up with qualification events. And right now, Paul, in Europe, our calendar is full. Try to find a space where you can run a qualification event in between the Austrian, German, Swiss, Netherlands regattas on the weekend. There are simply not enough weekends.
No, okay, so the proposal that the resolution I'm working on doesn't predicate any new regattas. It's rather the opposite. It's to strengthen the Austrian Championship or the regattas you already have. They would all be included in the list. And this is not really onerous to you or even me. I race in my California events. This is to try to inspire, frankly, people like Diego or Eric Doyle or Pete Eckert, or people who just go to the top events to actually spend a little time sailing in the Trofeo Benetti or some other event that already exists. So first of all, we're not inventing any new events. A lot of places have a district championship, right? You probably have a district championship. Well, it would be great if that would count. So it's not about creating any new events. Okay, it's just to try to take this interest that seems to be manifesting and push it down into the fleets a bit more. And because I think that is healthy for the class. It's great if the people in Zurich saw Pete Eckert show up and race with them one weekend. So as far as your idea, I mean, there's a lot in what you said, okay? Like the logistics of 150 boats. And what I would suggest you do is, I'm happy to have a conversation with you. But maybe, you could write something or have a conversation with Max Cola. I think this needs to go to the IGC. I think a good vetting platform for you, Arndt, if this is the first time I heard of this idea. Although I have heard people say, oh, it'd be great to have a gold and a silver fleet at the Worlds, right? Like the first 70, divide 150 boats in half and have, like the lasers do or whatever. And there's a lot of people who want to say, well, we're not the laser class, and how are you going to manage it? You can't have two fleets racing on the same racetrack in starboats. That would be chaotic. So you'd have to have two sets of race committee. There's a lot in all these discussions, okay? And we've heard some of them. I would say, Arndt, that if you have an idea like that, try to vet it with the IGC. And Max Koloff is your, continental officer there, maybe. And I know you have a good relationship with Max. Maybe talk it over with him and find a way. If you're really serious, we can set up a Zoom call with the IGC and we can talk this through, in May or June before you have to submit. It might help you. Might be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that it's going to be helpful because we're going to talk you out of it. I'm saying it might be helpful to help you frame it,
Yeah, well, I was trying to talk you into the idea to have a qualification system only if we need it, but if that's not happening, it's not happening. Huh? I mean,
well, let me think about. Only if we need it. Okay, so just thinking right out loud off the top of my head, that means judging, because the qualification is a year in advance. Okay, you have a window of 12 months to get these two regattas in. We can't tell someone at the point of the NOR 6 months before, and in the next 6 months, you got to do, you got to pay the entry fee and you got to do two events. We were thinking to give more notice than that. So it'd be the whole year preceding. Okay. So we wouldn't know if there's going to be a
2 years in advance where the next World Championship is, right?
Yeah. And we could ask them if there's going to be a cap. Yes.
Exactly.
That's what he's.
And if we need the cap, we invoke the qualification system. And if we don't need it, well, let's go.
Yeah. Well, this is where the philosophical question comes in, and I guess it's a good subject for this group right here. We got a couple more minutes. It's just, To me personally, I think a world championship is an elite event in the class, and it's not a. I think that you should have to qualify, and I think there should be a limit. I think that for a couple reasons. One, some very basic things. When you have more than 100 boats, the starting line, as you know, is quite long, and it really affects in our sport, in a way, the fairness of the event. If you're on one extremity and the wind goes your way, you've just passed 80 boats, and if it goes the other way, So I think there's some limits, logistically and managerially and qualitatively, to a world championship. That's my personal opinion. Bacardi Cup, for example, they want it to be a festival of sailing of the Star Class, and Sarah even blurted out 150 boats the other day. I don't know how you'd manage 150 boats, but so I think there's some philosophical thoughts aren't in the idea of what the world championship of the Star Class should be. And we talk about it at the IGC level, and that's why I think you should vet your idea to Max and then through to the IGC.
And regarding this, I have one question, because I don't know how many times in the last, let's say, 10 years we had to cap the World Championship entries.
Not very.
Does anybody know?
Yeah, it's just the last two.
So
I'm pretty sure we can ask. Geraldine would know for sure, but I don't think we've had more than 100 boats in the last. It's been a long time since we had more than 100 boats. It's probably been since Punta Ala in '99.
So the question is it really a case here? I agree with you, Paul, that there's a number that is too many boats. There's some effects logistically and on the race course that have to be, we have to look at. But the question from my side is does it really make sense to make all this, to have spent all this time discussing about the qualification? And do we really need it? Is it really, if we only need it every 10 years once or twice, does it really make sense to open such a big topic?
So I think Paul's idea.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Scott.
I think, Paul, your and Diego's idea of using the interest in the Worlds to help push participation in other places is fantastic, because you're going to have Robert Scheidt show up to Bacardi in Worlds. We really want him to show up at another South American event or another European event, and everybody gets to sail against him. And if it turns out our Worlds through this process is 80 boats, we're not losing anybody from the top 30. It's more I'll call it the star tourist that likes the family vacation, and it's a world championship and they get their new t-shirt or something, and it's okay to lose that group at the bottom.
No, yeah, I agree. It's not an issue for me. At that point, is it not possible to prioritize, let's say, live members, world champions, European champions, national champions, and then, let's say, longest member or whatever? Just make it simple, just not change, not create something like this qualification mode. I see the pros, but I also see the cons that aren't just touched on, the red tail that we have to organize.
Well, I don't know what rat tail. The Star Class was built on fleets 100 years ago. Okay, that's where the strength of the class came from. You had to either be the fleet champion, or you had to be in the top 20% of your district. Okay, every 5 boats in a district championship got 1 slot. That's the way it was when I started sailing in '77. And the first close to 100 boat Worlds we had was at '78. We had 99 boats. But the number was rarely over 100 in those early years, but you still had to qualify for the World Championship. So the concept there was quality over quantity. Okay, not everybody went to the World Championship, but what you'd race in your fleet. I mean, the West San Francisco Bay fleet, which now has almost nobody, had 15 or 18 boats. San Diego Bay fleet probably had 35 boats. So the class and its prestige was used to create local strength, participation. And I think that's the real health of the class. I'm going to go back to what I said at the beginning. The World Championship and the Silver Stars get all the limelight, but that's not the heart and soul of the Star class, guys. The heart and soul of the Star class is on Lake Werthersee, and it's on Attersee, and it's on Gull Lake, and it's on Balaton. Really, that's where the heart and soul is. And I think we need to use our newfound popularity to encourage people to simply sail in two. I mean, it's not very onerous to sail, and the Silver Star would count. Okay, so for most of us, like a Mateus, it's on his path, the Bacardi Cup, a Silver Star, and you're in. But maybe some people will sail in the Benetti, or some people will sail on Attersee, so I don't think it's very onerous, and I don't think it matters whether we're on a cap or not. I just think we should ask the people who are willing to obviously have the money to spend to travel to a World Championship to also spend a little time on some local regatta with their local fleet. And again, I'm sort of aiming at a Pete Eckert, for example. And I hope Pete wouldn't be upset for me saying that, but I think it'd be fantastic if Pete sailed a regatta on the Zurich Sea. It would inspire. And that's where I grew up sailing against Blackaller and Dennis Conner and Lowell North, because they had to sail. They had to sail in the fleet. And that was fantastic for a young person to get to race against those people. So these are the philosophical considerations that I think we discussed. And we got away from the fleet qualifiers, I think, after the Star lost its Olympic status in 2012. We just went to open, and it's been a road back, but thanks to all you guys, we are enjoying a bit of a renaissance. The Starboat is very respected amongst all other classes, and having a Robert Scheidt come back to the class, and all you guys, it's the class is getting the recognition it deserves. And but I think we should ask those people to spend a little time on local regattas. So that's a bit of the background. And the place to debate it, if you disagree or you want to put something else forward, is the IGC. And Max, you're on that. And if Arndt wants to bring a different concept to the IGC, we're totally open. We will listen to anything. And there's 9 of us on that committee, and we're happy to discuss any concepts, because really we're only here to make the Star class great and to honor those who came before us and who built this fantastic class that we all have the luxury of sailing.
For reference, the largest worlds in 99 was Punta Ala with 129, Annapolis in 2000 with 112, Menemblik 2001 with 105, Los Angeles 103 in 2002, Gaeta 2004 with 102, and then the last one was Miami in 2008 with 104.
And this is all from the Olympic period, yeah? And now you need to look at how many boats were active at that point and then come up with a ratio ruddy, yeah? This is why I'm saying, Paul, please consider make a qualification system for the situation where we need it, not just all around. Rest my case now.
So are you worried that if we ask Pete to sail in 2 local races that he won't go to the Worlds? Or I don't understand what we're trying to say.
Maybe he's just saying, well, this is too cumbersome for me. I'll go and sail a Dragon.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always got two sides to it, right?
Yeah. Okay, well, so yeah, that's a valid point. Is it going to be too onerous for Robert Scheid and Mateus to sail into, regattas? And ultimately, the membership will vote on that. It's not me and it's not the IGC that decides this. We're just formulating a resolution to put forward. But that's a good point. I mean, and we have considered that. Is it too onerous? But we'll take another. So your submission would be it's too onerous. When you're saying when it's not needed, it's too onerous. Okay.
No,
Well, I
that's
think
not what I'm saying.
I think he's also proposing that we go shop for venues that can handle more boats.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of going to places where the Star Class is known and we have sailors there and hosts and families and race committee who have some heritage with the class, rather than show up at a giant national sailing center that, does a lot of one design sailing maybe, but they don't have any understanding or connection with the Star Class.
Like Scarlino.
Yeah. No, that's a perfect example. It was beautiful.
Yeah, when you're then restricted from even using the club. That was harsh.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. Good call.
Yeah, it is a good call. It's great to debate these things and hear everybody's opinion. So,
yeah, but see, the Germans have already had their first beer and we're just waking up.
Yeah, I think it's time to end the call. My coffee's out of coffee. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Have a great sailing season, and I hope to see you soon somewhere.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.